Hi, everyone. It's Andrew with the Market Mindset. Another reaction video, this time with Cathie Wood, CEO of ARK Invest. She's on Squawk Box, and she's talking about Tesla as being the biggest AI in the world. Of course, NVIDIA would have something to say about that. Salesforce, you name it, all the FANG, they're all doing AI. It's critical. It's all the moment. Some of it's hype, some of it's very real, but let's see what Cathie Wood has to say.
You've been very bullish on autonomy. Yes. Vehicle autonomy, of ETF all around it, robotics and the like. What do you make of what's happened with Cruise?
Yes.
The shutdown of Cruise, at least the temporary suspension of it. Derek Khosrowshahi, who runs Uber, was on the broadcast last week. He said he doesn't think that autonomy, in terms of autonomous vehicles or robo-taxis or the like, are a real thing for another 5 or 10 years. Meaning, he's, and by the way, I think 5 or 10 years ago, he would have said 5 or 10 years ago, that was what, you know,
so would Elon, yes.
And so here we are.
Yes.
So what, have you changed your view about that? No. I mean, you must have, because I imagine if we go
right
get
now,
tape.
just to set the stage a little bit, because for ARK Invest and for Cathie Wood, Tesla, her biggest call for the last while has been that it's this robotaxi with Tesla that will be the biggest mover and shaker. And you can see if Tesla has their driverless cars and they nail it, and you know, Elon's hinted that maybe we're closer than we think. Maybe we're a year away, maybe we're 5 years away, who knows? But if they nail it, and if it is safe, and you take out GM's Cruise situation that they had and they're on pause, then Uber, which is 111 billion market cap, what's the need for Uber? You know, I could have my driverless car pick me up and take me somewhere. My driverless car deliver food. There's no need for Uber anymore. So you can see what's at stake if someone can actually nail this. Now, of course, they like to say it's that running joke that every 5 years they say we're 5 years away. It's kind of like when you're talking about nuclear fusion. We're always just 10 years off.
If we go get tape of a conversation that we all probably had 5 or 10 years ago, we probably said 5 or 10 years from now.
22, 23, right. 24. We actually delay ours by 1 year relative to Elon, so maybe it should be 2 years. But here's where we've learned how important Tesla's proprietary data is. It's 5 million robots around the world. Cruise didn't have anything like that. It had hundreds. 5 million robots around the world collect data every day and send it back to Tesla. Tesla has more corner cases, which means disengagements, accidents, information like that, than all the other companies in the world combined. And I have to tell you, watching the breakthroughs in AI that we are seeing, they are astounding, the speed at which this is moving. Right. So it is interesting. I think it's a data issue. Autonomous taxi platforms are the biggest AI project in the world, and therefore we think Tesla is the biggest. But you have sold,
you've sold Tesla shares, and
it
used to be the number one
selling. So there's the play. They have the most amount of data points that are constantly being updated. They're feeding them specific data that they require and need for the machine learning part of the quote unquote AI. But you know, and we won't get into that world of what's generative AI compared to machine learning and deep learning and whatnot. But generally speaking, right now, almost everyone is going down the path of whoever has the most data wins, and the deepest data, and by far, Tesla has that. So when you're feeding it into the computer and into the chips to anticipate and to predict, you need to have all of these data points and entry. So are they closer? Yeah, I would say by leaps and bounds. But how close? Who knows? And the one thing I do love about this is that even in times whenever, you know, it's tight markets, it's stressful markets, there's a lot of chaos out there, there's a lot of hope. And when you can look at these companies, whether they're there or not, there's a lot of promise with AI, and we're seeing a lot of very interesting things. Not the movie, you know, sci-fi kind of stuff that you see out there, the outlandish, but there are incredible things happening at a very fast pace. And this is her play. This is the play with Tesla. And if people are wondering, like, well, wait a second, how many cars can they sell? And, you know, with EVs kind of taking a step back lately, this is more than that. It's a tech play, and that's her kind of approach to Tesla. Let's just jump back in, because right now we get to hear a little bit of a stumble here between actions compared to words.
The number one holding, I believe, in your ETF. It's now number 3. You've sold about 20 million shares.
Yes.
Why?
So, well, whenever it goes up, it was up about 150% relative to our other names, many of which had not moved. So we will always recycle that way, take profits. And I would also say, listening to Elon on the last conference call, he's very concerned about the economy, as we are.
Cathie, will I look outside 5 years from now and see GM and Ford EVs everywhere?
It's very interesting to hear both of them pull back, saying,
but do you think, with this new way, I think, I don't even know if we'll be talking about GM and Ford in 5 years.
What is interesting about the news that both of them are pulling back for profitability reasons, they can't be profitable in this space unless they scale. That's how this works.
It's a catch-22.
So it's catch-22, and their shareholder base is very internal combustion engine oriented.
So yeah, there's the scale issue, but the problem is the grid hasn't scaled. There aren't charging stations everywhere. You can't scale right now. So we're going to do a little focus on what it's going to take for the grid to scale, to be able to handle the amount of electricity that would be required for all these charging stations all over the world. Certainly Vancouver can't. I mean, that's why you don't see any of these new buildings with all sorts of charging stations everywhere. We'll have a couple, but no one's factoring that in. And these are buildings that are going up now. So you're looking 5-10 years out. So really, what is the plan? And this is where, when you see the difference between what you hear from a politician, and we saw Bill Gates' response, where there's a lot of exaggeration in this climate story. That where are we really with a lot of these things? And you can see she's struggling here, because there's real things. Economy is not looking great. That's a whole other discussion. So she has to rebalance her portfolio a bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's a bit of a mixed message between the hope of where AI can take us and where this can all lead us, but also the realization that we've been kind of boxed into a situation right now that's not terribly optimistic or hopeful, unless you're UBS and you think that we're going to be dropping rates by 275 basis points next year. Let's jump back in.
Shareholder base is very internal combustion engine oriented, and they want their profits now, and they want their dividends now. And they don't want that kind of investment. So how are they going to do it? Losses.
Will they be able to?
I don't know. All I know is, back to the Tesla question, as they are pulling away, our market share expectations for Tesla go up.
Right.
And so to answer the question, we sold as it was up 150% relative to everything else. We have not sold much since then. And it will, if we're right on this autonomous taxi opportunity, it will remain in the top 5 in our fund, in our flagship.
And that's a great place to end it, because there's nothing wrong with recalibrating your portfolio, taking some profits off the table when you get some wins, being cognizant of the market being as chaotic and ugly as it appears. But there is hope on the future, and that's what I like about Cathie, is that her fund really focuses on a lot of the hope that's out there. And if the timing isn't right, that's one thing, but it's always great to speak with her, because she is focused on so many of the incredible technologies that have so much promise. And long term, it's going to be very exciting. We have to get through some of this challenging period of time, but the long run, we can see that there's a lot of interesting things coming on the horizon, and that horizon is coming fast. So anyways, leave your thoughts. Tell me what you think of Cathie Wood. What do you think of ARK Invest? What do you think her play on Tesla? Do you think Tesla, that they're going to do it? Like that, it's a big ask to have this robotaxi. Anyways, leave your thoughts. Reach out to us. We look forward to chatting.